Hi guys, I am Raza Barad. Welcome to my channel The Scripto. As the title says, we are going to read a very large file that is around 3 GB or so, more than 100 million rows in it. Okay, so there are a couple of blogs that mentions like how to read this many rows in from a CSV, and I am also going to like represent one of this those ways, but I'm going to use here like a couple of additional things like how to interact with all those columns through chunks, and even if while writing how can we use chunks and so a progress bar to it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first we are going to download 100 million rows CSV. Just put that in search, download 100 million rows CSV, and we are going to use this Kaggle 100 million CSV format data. Okay, I'll mention this link in the description so that you guys can go on download it. Okay. So this is this CSV data, and here you can download. Okay, so let's download that. So it is going to take some time to get this archive.zip to download, like 8 minutes or so. As I already done that, so I'm going to cancel this, and let us go for the download section here, and here we can go for this archive.zip. Okay, as you can see here there is a archive.zip. I already downloaded at 3.6 GB. Okay, so here once expanded it will be holding one folder which consists of two files. Okay, it is opening, so let's wait 1-2 minutes, 2 seconds. Yeah, so as you can see there are two CSVs, customs 1988 to 2022 CSV and DB file as well. Okay, we don't need this because I already downloaded and like stored it in a folder called read more than a million. Okay, and also a blank Python file, okay, 0 bytes, so that I'll read that in this file. So here we can see this data. This is like a stock data from Japan from 1988 to 2022. Okay, so yeah, that's inside the archive folder. So we have a folder called read more than million, and I have opened this folder in the spider. Okay, spider is just an data or Python programming environment that you can get from Anaconda Navigator. If you're familiar with Anaconda, the spider comes default with it. You can go and launch here. Okay, so let's start our program with a quick breakdown of some segments. So first we are going to like import some of the libraries and all. Okay, so I will comment this like read load libraries. Okay, libraries, then we'll go for like reading the file. Then we'll go for writing the file. Okay. Yeah, so let's start with this. Okay, so what's wrong with reading the entire CSV in one go? So as I have a MacBook Pro, so I have like ample amount of RAM to handle 3 GB of data. But if you have a system, the mainly in the VPS system, if you are taking 1 or 2 GB of RAM and reading a 3 GB of RAM, 3 GB of CSV, that will going to hold the entire memory of the RAM. So in that case, what we can do, we can like segregate our data into chunks, and we'll read in chunks and process in chunks and write in chunks also. Okay. So for that we are going to need pandas, a popular library in Python. So I'm going with import pandas as PD. Okay. Then there is another library, tqdm, and that is it to show the progress bar. Okay, so it will give a nice representation how our chunks are getting getting read, getting right, written into the file and all. Okay, so okay, tkdum import tqdm. Okay, cool. So now we got our libraries, that's all we need. So let's set the initial paths. So I'll go for okay, so initial paths. So I go for input file. So let's go for archive, because we have archive inside that. This one is there, so it will be archive / custom, that is 1988 _ 2020 .csv. Okay, so that's it. Then we'll go for the output file equal to new. Let's say you can give any name you want. For the common understanding, I'm giving the new file .csv. Okay, so as we are mentioning that this is like a 3 GB data. Okay, as you can see here, this is a 3 GB data. Okay, oh, after uncompressing, it is 4.5 GB of data. So yeah, it will be like 100 million rows. And we'll if you will going to open it normal any software like Numbers in Mac and Excel in Windows, it is going to take ample amount of time and may not show all of those data. Okay, so I'll show in this spider variable directory that how there is exactly more than 100 million rows. Okay, up to some point I'll show that. Okay, so let's set the chunk size first, so by the reading the file. So I'll go with the chunk size equal to, let's say, million rows per chunk. Okay, because 100 million, so let's go for million. Okay, that's it. Okay, so right now I want to calculate like how many rows are there. This is not at all required, but if you want, you can do this. Like a rows equal to sum, then I'll go for 1 for okay underscore in, I'll go with open, then our input file declared and in a reading mode. Okay, that's it. So it will show the total number of rows. Then I'll go for a CSV reader that is already available with the pandas library. So okay, let's give you a break. CSV reader. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit, maybe it will be easier for you to read. So CSV reader and equal to, don't worry, I'll put all this code in a git repo and I'll set the permanent. Okay, so just don't forget to check the description. Yeah, CSV. So here we can go for our input file. Okay, then we'll mention the chunk size here. Okay, chunk size equal to, I'll say, chunk underscore size. Okay, that we have declared before. Okay, so now we'll go and initialize a blank array. So that will be my final chunks. Okay, and here I am going to append once my chunks are like available after post processing. So for processing I'll not do anything. I just take the first column and I'll just put a string called Python. That's it. That is all I'm going to do. You can use it according to your convenience. Okay, so let's say now let's loop through. okay, all those chunks. So for that, like for chunk in, okay, so here comes the second library where we can TPDM to show a nice progress bar in the terminal. Okay, so let's go for CSV and reader. So the CSV reader, okay, I did one mistake here. No, nothing, all good. So it should be TKDS CSV reader, then total equal to total rows, okay, and then chunk size, chunk underscore size, then chunk size plus one, it should be, because it's calculated, okay, 0. Okay, then description will be, I guess, ready. Okay, so now this is the for loop, then we'll go for, sorry, next step, then we go for first step. Okay, so now assuming the first column is unknown, okay, so we cannot access it by the column name, so I'll declare a first, I'm making it dynamic, so column name equal to chunk dot columns 0. Okay, so the first column I'm expecting in the 0th index. Then let's go for chunk, and then whatever the first column name is set, so first column name, then it will be what we are doing here, we are just adding Python plus the whatever string is there in that column. So let's say first column is suppose Raja, then it will be Python plus Raja, something like that. Okay, so I'm writing Python here, and it will be plus, then whatever the chunk, then array, and first column name. Okay, and let me just type converts it to string. Okay, it will ensure that it is being concatenated properly. Okay? So now I am going for the final chunk. Remember, we have initialized a blank array here. Okay, then dot append, then there should be the chunk object. Okay, so we are reading 1 million rows per chunk, like per iteration. Then we are taking the first column, then adding the Python string to the first column, whatever the values are, then we are appending the final chunk. Okay, cool. So now we'll prepare our final data. Okay, so let's come out of this loop, then final data equal to pd dot, let's concatenate all those, I misspelled it, concat, yeah, concatenate. Whenever there is no suggestion coming in Spider, definitely you are doing something right. So final chunk, final chunks, then will be ignore index, it's all in the library documentation, ignore index equal to true. Okay, cool. So now our reading part is done, our final data is ready to be written into another CSV. So okay, so next let's go to the final part of this. Even if writing the whole data into a single file is going to be memory consuming, as it is now more than 4 GB of data, because we have added some extra string that is also going to be written like more than 100 million times. So yeah, So let's now decide the chunk size. Okay, so this chunk size should be like you should be aware of your what is your memory. So according to that you can decide your chunk size for reading and writing purpose, both of the things. Okay, so let's go for chunk size now for write. Okay, chunk size, but no, right, let's name it like that. And let's do that for like 500,000 maybe, not a million. Okay, I'm just giving another number so that you guys can differentiate it. Okay, so now total rows to write, let's calculate that again. It is, we are calculating for only the decodium to show that progress bar and all. So maybe length, now it is in final array is already calculated, so it will be easy for us to check the length. So it will be final data, yeah. So now we have total rows to write. Okay, so now we can go for the same like for loop. Okay, so we can go another way to use the decodium. So like with tqdm. So now it is asking for some variable like total, as we have given before, total equal to total rows, right? Yeah. So then description equal to, let's say, writing. Okay. You can write anything you want. Okay, let's double capital. Okay, writing. Then arch p bar, okay, to show the progress bar. Yeah, so now let's go one indentation, then for I in range I will say 0 to total rows to write, then chunk size, right? Okay, okay, so now for this loop, okay, sorry, this will be outside. Yeah, so now final data. Okay, final data dot. Okay, so now we are like writing it in chunks. So this is the okay, so this is ilocation, iloc, I guess, iloc, and then let's say I colon I, okay, and plus chunk size to write. Why am I chunk size to write? Okay, so then it will be 2 underscore CSV. Then let's start the bracket, and then inside here we'll say the name, so the output file that is saved as new file.csv. Then mode should be equal to a. You can, okay, you can see this in the library documentation. Then I will say index equal to false, and header equal to I equal to 0. Okay, so that's it. Now I would say inside this for loop, p bar dot update chunk size underscore write. That's it. Now what we can do, we can complete the program, like if everything goes complete, the print processing is completed. Okay, so let's say that processing. Okay, processing is complete. Okay, cool. I think everything is good. So let's see it is working or not. Let's save the program first. Okay, working directory is correct. Yeah, it is started correctly, reading 4% as you can see. Okay. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah. So now it is at 37%. The writing, the reading is already done. And as you can see here, a new file is created in the variable explorer. I always recommend to clear the variables before running any new program, so that you will get a track of all those variables. And if you want to like explore it later, you can save these variables also. Okay, so now we are seeing at 50-60%. So let me zoom in this also a little bit. Okay. The size we can see. Yeah. So as you can see, the size is also increasing. Okay, at 82% it is increasing, still increasing. Definitely the right file size should be bigger than this, because we have inserted the Python million times. Okay. Cool, the processing is completed. Okay. Okay, so now to check that whatever the files has been created, the new file .csv, to open up that means if I am going to use the numbers in Mac, I think the numbers will have that it will consume a lot more memory. So what we can do, we can write just a test script to see the file is correct or not. We could have done that while we run that program, so I'm not going to do that again. I just I have ample amount of RAM to check this through Spider only. So what we can do, we can copy this part of the code. So let's create another file called, so let's save it into test results. Okay, test results. Okay, save, and here I will paste it. And in case of input file, I will go for new file.csv. So let's copy this and paste this here in the input file variable. Okay, so now I don't need the chunk size, because I'm just going to read this once, and I have like 16 GB of RAM, so that is going to, so I'm not needing this total array. I'll have only a CSV reader, pd.read CSV. I don't need this also. So okay, I don't need the chunk size here, just to check the result. Okay, so now this is code. Now we can print the head, print let's say CSV reader dot head, and let me write the first file also. Okay, we just need to check that okay, the first column has concatenated with the Python or not. Okay, let's save it, run it. Okay, so as you can see, it it is being loaded. It will going to take some time because it's a very big file. As you can see, it's 4.7 GB in here. Not sure like it's showing here, but if I go to the Finder, like so in Finder, then it is showing 5.11 GB. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, the first column here, it is concatenated with Python. Okay, so this means that is working correctly. Okay,